3. Please rise and pledge allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Mayor Tompeck,
Here.
Vice Mayor Kurzman,
Yes.
Commissioner Campo,
Here.
Commissioner Fender,
Here.
Commissioner Mayfield.
Here.
Okay, first up is an FPL presentation, but I'm guessing that person is not here.
That person is not here. Again, that's twice they've been on the agenda and twice it's a no-show. So.
All right, maybe you can reschedule that. Haven't gotten any public comment slips?
No, sir.
Okay. So that brings us to additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Dan.
thank you. I know I've been pushing to keep us moving forward on our projects, but I'd like to request that we set aside item under old business, so it'd be 10C and D. My rationale is I know we're out to bid with getting some of the prices in for the commercial septic to sewer, and then also the addendum that's in for septic to sewer for phase 3, which is the 148 connections. So I don't have any of the grant paperwork in yet from FDEP, so it's not like I'm working against the time frame, but it might be helpful just to see how our numbers are, just to make sure that they're okay with what our projections are. And if y'all don't have a problem, I'd like to put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
We think we'll have the paperwork by then.
I think Thursday is the septic to sewer bids are due in, the commercial septic to sewer, and then the 13th, Joe, is it, for the, or 14th, 13th or 14th, but it is before our next meeting. So I might not have those results. I can give them to you verbally, and that we're, what our estimate is and how well it matches up with what the bids are.
Commissioner Mayfield?
So you're saying you want to see if the bids are wildly out of line with the grant money?
Just to be conservative, we might have to, if that's the case, we might have to make a change. Obviously, it's a lot of money that we have on the one grant, the $8.4 million grant. But if we were going to look at maybe a possible expansion, utilizing those extra dollars, I think phase 3 was roughly about $2.2 million, if I recall, that we were going to be spending towards septic to sewer. That's the 148 connections in the main line. I'd rather you all have up-to-date information on those numbers, and so you have all the data to go ahead and make a decision.
And you said there's no issue with timing? That,
Right
like,
now,
I don't
there
wanna-
isn't. I don't think 2 weeks is going to kill us one way or the other. I do know that you're out of town at the
Yes.
next meeting, but I think it's an issue. I just rather hold off and, so I can clear up any doubts in anybody's mind that, our projections are correct, and we can then move forward.
Okay. This is a project near and dear to my heart, and
Yes,
I won't
I
be at
know.
the next one, so I was looking forward to, but
I
you
understand.
think that's the best, then?
That would be my recommendation.
I'll move approval of the agenda with item 10C deleted.
10B and C, right?
D, C and D.
I'm sorry, 10C and D deleted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Kurzman,
Yes.
Commissioner Campo,
Yes.
Commissioner Fender,
Yes.
Commissioner Mayfield,
Yes.
Mayor Tompeck.
Yes. That brings us down to item 6, the consent agenda. Anybody have any questions or wish to pull any items on the consent agenda? If not, I'm entertaining a motion for approval.
So moved.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Campo,
Aye.
Commissioner Fender,
Aye.
Commissioner Mayfield,
Yes.
Mayor Tompeck,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kurzman.
Yes.
Okay, we don't have any first or second reading on the ordinances tonight, but we do have resolution number 955, budget amendment number 1. Town clerk, please read the title of the resolution into the record.
A resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Sewalls Point, Florida, adopting an amendment to the 2022-2023 fiscal year budget, directing the town manager to take action to implement budget amendment number 1 and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Yes.
Lead in this one?
One of the major things that we're accounting for in this budget amendment was the purchase of the property and how to, properly account for it according to accounting standards. So that was the biggest shift of it. And then there were some funding situations that weren't taken into account with the previous budget. So I have our finance director, Mariah Pierce, here, who has painstakingly gone over this and answered all of my questions, but I figured if you have any specific questions on the expenditures that are in there, between her and I, we can address them for you.
Welcome, Mariah. Do you have some opening comments? Or?
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. So I think, Bob covered it. The biggest thing in here is the $2 million of the loan that we did not budget for when going through the budget, process. So we've added that. We've also, and then there was a couple under expenditures that we have added. And one of the ones being this position was not budgeted as a full-time position. And so that has been updated to make it a full-time position. And other than that, I've gone over, there's some unrealized or some revenues that we're expecting to, come in. One of the biggest revenues right now is interest. The interest is higher right now, and we do have our ad valorem taxes invested, and so that has been a higher return, and we're kind of projecting that that will continue that way for a few more months until we start dipping into those funds for operating. And I was trying to think if there's anything else.
I think there was also, not to interrupt you, but we also had a situation where, due to the storms, we've used up the overtime budget for the emergencies, and with, for the police department, and with the construction of Phase 3, we're going to have a lot of traffic diversions, and so it's going to mean having more of a police presence out there. So between, contracts with, other law enforcement agencies and using our own staff, there's a $10,000 allocation in there. We don't project to use it all, but, it's there so we can make sure that our residents feel safe during the project.
Commissioner Campo.
Move approval of budget amendment.
Any further discussion?
Just a little typo on number 2023-2, right? Double cents, I guess. It's 189,000, correct? I assume that's just a simple typo.
Oh, yeah. Page
I
33.
can see it at the bottom.
Page
It's
3?
corrected at the
33?
bottom, under
33?
summary.
Yeah, page 33 in our agenda.
Second section, 2023. But I see it's correct down under the budget summary impact.
Okay. I apologize for that.
No worries.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Fender?
Aye.
Commissioner Mayfield?
Yes.
Mayor Tompak?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kurzman?
Yes.
Commissioner Campo?
Aye.
All right, that brings us to...
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings us to some old business. Foreclosure attorney for 19 East High Point. Mr. Torsivi, would you like to introduce this item?
Yes,
Or reintroduce it?
okay. As you recall, you'd previously authorized that the town begin the foreclosure process against the Laganas for the code enforcement liens, which are in excess of $200,000 at this point. At the last meeting, we had a proposed agreement, which I think is the same agreement in your packet, with a lawyer named Brian Sherman out of a law firm in Fort Lauderdale, Gore and Sheriff. They also do a lot of local government law. We've worked with them before, and his rate was $250 an hour. But as you remember, we pulled it off that agenda because we really were trying to find a local firm. So it was good to have someone local, familiar with local courts. So from the last meeting to this meeting, I made several calls, and I was somewhat surprised at the fees that were quoted. I was thinking, $250 an hour from a Fort Lauderdale firm, and they'd be a little less up here. No, not the case at all. I had one firm that was $350 an hour for the lawyer that would do the most of the work, $450 an hour if the senior partner had to be involved. Another firm exactly the same, $350 and $450. But there was a local firm at $300 an hour, and that's a gentleman named Owen Schultz, who's with Terry McCarthy's firm. So you really have kind of a choice in front of you tonight. Mr. Sherman is still available and willing to do this at the $250 an hour. Mr. Schultz, I spoke with him just an hour ago to confirm. He's also willing to do it, but his fee would be $300 an hour. So either firm, I'm sure, is very capable of doing this. It's just a question of, the price and the familiarity with the local community and the local court system, if that outweighs the $50 an hour difference.
Mr. Mayfield?
Do you have like a rough estimate of how many hours we're talking?
I think in the agreement, I put a cap, and you can always adjust the cap. I think the cap was $35,000 is what I could see a foreclosure case costing, no matter which set of fees. Now, obviously, if they approach that cap, they can always come back to the commission to amend, but, any lawsuit, and this is relatively straightforward, but it's still a lawsuit. And I know that you're going to have potential motions, you have potential depositions, and you have potential hearings. So I would put that number of $35,000 at either rate, because it's going to be the cap no matter who's doing it.
Okay.
And again, if you think that cap is too high or too low, let me know. But I thought that was probably a pretty reasonable cost for this particular case.
It's 140 hours.
For which one, the 250 or the
250.
250?
Mr. Gamble?
Yeah, I think based upon the nature and history of this type of thing, that having a local attorney that knows the local community, knows Sewalls Point, knows what we value, knows the court system, I think that's an intangible that's worth a great deal. And I think the commission's done everything we could to try to work this out. I'd like to ask, has there been any outreach from Mr. Lagana to either the town attorney or the town manager in order that you saw that was, he's now had 30 days that you felt was going in the direction of, getting that property in better condition?
I haven't at all. There's been no change to the property, and there is correspondence that I was trying to get sent out to the commission that was, my understanding, was sent out to the High Point residents, which doesn't give any indication that he's willing to come into compliance.
Yeah.
You're a High Point resident.
I didn't get any communication.
Yeah, so I think because of the nature of this, this really could have been done in such a more pleasant way. We all are defenders of trees and our tree ordinances, and we want to, back that up. After 2 years, I think he's forced our hand. And I think that there will be no travel for a local attorney, where I think there's provision in here for some travel time from the Broward County. And if you worked with people in the Broward County court system, it's different down there. It's different down here. So I think Martin County Sewalls Point is a microcosm of what makes Martin County special. I think having that local knowledge of the court system and, what we value most would actually be worth paying a little extra for. So I would tend to go with the local attorney.
That's 300.
And that's Terry McCarthy, lives in Sewalls Point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you can't get much more local than that.
It's 116 hours.
Mr. Mayfield?
Yeah, I agree with those sentiments. I think a local attorney is a better choice in this matter.
Agreed. Okay. wishes to move forward?
I'll make a motion to move forward with Schultz,
Owen Schultz of
Owen
Terry
Schultz
McCarthy's
of
firm.
Terry McCarthy's firm for the foreclosure.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Mayfield?
Yes.
Mayor Tompeck?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kurzman? Commissioner Campo?
Aye.
Commissioner Fender?
Aye.
And I will provide this same agreement, obviously changing the names and the rate a little bit, to
Okay.
Mr. Schultz to sign it, and I would assume by the end of this week it'll be signed, and I'll send it over to the manager. I don't see any reason to put it back on the agenda to approve it again. You've already approved it. It'll be the same format, and the clerk will have a copy.
I don't, the side note, I don't see the 35,000 written in what you have.
I didn't see it in here either. That's something you might want to look at.
If not, I'll add that. If you all
Okay.
agree, that would be a
A
reasonable
good point to
cap.
reassess, okay.
Do we need to add that to the motion somehow?
Do I?
I understand the direction.
Trust Glenn enough to put it in?
Yeah, I'll put it in.
Shady.
We got to watch them like a hawk, you know.
I know.
Next item is 10B, approval to accept the FDP grant for Phase 2. Mr. Daniels, would you like to introduce this item?
Yes, just to reflect on our memories, this grant is for Phase 2. We already have an HMGP grant that handles our design work, and then I believe it's roughly $2 million for construction, and this grant would be used as construction and possible match, depending on how the contract reads and what we can negotiate with them. We have been successful in the past with resiliency grants on negotiating no match. So, you know, it's hopefully we're dealing with the same individuals that we've dealt with Phase 3, and we might be able to actually swing a better deal than what we're planning now. So basically, I don't have the letter of the contract yet. All I have is the same press release that's in the documentation and the fact that the governor has endorsed this. And so, you know, there's no doubt in my mind that it's not coming. But when you look at how many grants that they awarded in that short period of time, you know, FDEP is kind of flooded with the paperwork. So, but as soon as we get it, I'd like to get that one moving. And again, my plan is to, I know Joe's working hard on getting the Phase 3 going, but also in the back of my mind, I heard the residents talking about, you know, their situations in Phase 2, and I want to try to make sure that we're moving right along with Phase 2 as well.
Sorry.
Mr. Campo.
I'll move approval of staff recommendation.
I will second.
Commissioner Mayfield, you have a comment?
I was just going to move approval.
Okay, great. By the way, terrific getting that grant. That's a nice piece for the next phase.
Yay.
And we really appreciate the effort Bob and you and Chloe and Joe put together to get that grant.
Good teamwork.
April, please call the roll.
Mayor Tompeck?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kurzman?
Yes.
Commissioner Campo?
Aye.
Commissioner Fender?
Aye.
Commissioner Mayfield?
Yes.
Okay, let's see, we took 10C off the table. That brings us to commission and staff closing comments. Any
Oh,
comments?
super quick.
I'm sorry,
Glenn?
did I miss something?
I just was muttering under my breath. Sorry. It was very quick. That's what I just said.
I think, you know, we're working hard to move us forward, and I just hope we move forward in unison. And that's, you know, one of the things that, you know, isn't on my goal list, but it is in my goal heart, and that's to keep us together as a commission so we can work together to solve these problems. We can all have disagreements maybe sometimes on opinions, and those are all healthy, but just as long as we're respectful for each other, just like we expect our audience Okay, well, maybe not tonight's audience, but we expect them to also be respectful to the process that we have to go through. And, you know, just in closing tonight, I appreciate the cooperation I've had. I do have a couple evaluations that are outstanding, so hopefully I can get those in soon, so I can get that on the agenda, and, you know, we can cross that one off the list and move forward. But I am very thankful of being here, and I don't want to be anywhere else, and I appreciate the cooperation that you extend to me.
Now, I'm hoping that when we do go over the details of the evaluations, that you can also put together a little status of performance goals.
Yes.
Every time, so we know where.
I will.
we are on those.
Was there a deadline that I missed on that?
Yeah, it passed.
Okay.
Well, it's
So
kind
I'll
of
go back
quick.
and look.
It was quick. So my deadline now to get it on the next agenda will be next Tuesday.
Okay.
So I always try to get the agendas out on a Tuesday. You know, usually by Tuesday night or Wednesday, you're getting the agenda packet. So, you know,
Didn't you say in the forum that you wanted to sit down with each of us to discuss it?
I'd like to, yes, but that hasn't happened with the exception of one commissioner, so.
Commissioner Campbell?
I went directly to handing in my, my review to Mariah, so I passed go and didn't collect $200. But I think we've had discussions of how great you are and how Sewalls Point is really coming to its own with first putting April full-time and, of course, adding to our foundation of Tina and Jack and then Mariah. And it's a great team. We have a lot of trust, and that's important when we're about to move ahead with the things that we are. And to that end, I'm wanted to use this opportunity to say that the $8.4 million grant that we've received has been a game changer in my mind. And if the numbers come in the way that Joe has been estimating, then I'm going to be in favor of this septic to sewer conversion program, at least for the initial force main down to Pineapple and the 148, and, you know, maybe more. But I'd like to see what the pricing is of your estimates. I don't want to get too far above our, ahead of our skis. But, you know, I've been a proponent of septic to sewer, but I've never been able to make the numbers work. But that 8.4 million really helped me go a long way to look toward that. And this fantastic display of the numbers to show how it all plugged in. We're not there yet, but we're a lot closer. And I'm going to, you know, follow the lead of the town manager when he says that, you know, the higher the number of commissioners, the more consensus we can have to put together something that's going to be, it's going to be a lot of upset, you know, it's going to be a lot of turmoil. And I don't think we can go into something like that fragmented. If there's a way for us to do it in a united way, that's what I want to do. You know, we all have our own voices, and at the end of the day, we need to come together if the numbers work, and we're heading in that direction. So I just wanted to kind of indicate that to the rest of the commission, and I'm looking forward to those estimates coming in because I think it's canary in a coal mine as far as what the larger projects are going to be. If we can get 2.16 million force main down to Pineapple, and we could get the commercial connected, that'll be, you know, a real step in the right direction. So thank you for all your hard work. Still not signing on the dotted line, but, you know, show me the money and show me the bids, and we're going in the right direction. So thanks for your patience and your trust that the town manager has built.
Commissioner Maker?
Yes, I believe the town manager mentioned it, that I won't be at the next meeting, but I may be able to call in, so I'll let you know, depending on what our schedule is. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Christian?
Yes, I'm also going to be on board with the septic to sewer conversion if we could get all 700 homes eligible for the hookup. Like I said earlier on, my biggest fear and my only fear is right now that, you know, we get 300 some odd homes hooked in, and all of a sudden, you know, more want to hook in, and all of a sudden we find out that something becomes mandatory on the state level, right, to the people who aren't hooked up. So I'm looking out for everybody that lives in Sewalls Point. And I think we could definitely move, maybe if we could talk to the committee, well, not so much committee, but maybe our town manager.
If I may, it has to be you. Okay, I need all of the commissioners to be on board with the county commission to get this through. So it's something that's, I have to deal through the county administrator. And and I'm relaying information that I get to you all directly from the county administrator. But it's going to take going to the commission, the county commission, to have them give us an exemption from their regulation. And that regulation is no more than 300 grinder hookups per community. Now, I did bring up the fact that a community, we have at least 10 HOAs in South Sewalls Point. So, again, I'm probably going to get fact-checked, but from what I could figure out, it's 10. Now, some of them are more involved than others, but to me, that's a community. So, even the way it sits, we fit that definition. But again, I don't want to split hairs with the county administrator. I've already brought that up. I also brought up talking points to him that I'll be more than happy to share to each of you. But I think it's going to take a concerted effort to make sure that we reach out to not only our district commissioner that's on the county commission, but try to reach out to as many of them as we can. And so I need your help. And not just yours, but the commission's help, as I mentioned before. So
I'd like to have the opportunity to sit down with each of the county commissioners and talk about this. I think, to me, this is a clear winner for us. It's a clear winner for them. In the long run, it's a clear winner for them. And you can take a lot of credit, from an environmental standpoint, for getting us hooked up. And it's one of the things that we've all been interested in. So, yeah, I think we've got some politicking to do, and we're ready to do it.
good. I appreciate your help.
I was just going to say, great comments. Glad to hear the comments from both of you. But I was really going to just say, a reminder that this weekend happens to be the Marathon of the Treasure Coast weekend. So I wanted to thank the chief for the support the town provides and the support that Joe Capra and Captech Engineering provide the event, and to tell everybody to be safe and watch out for runners on the road Sunday morning.
Okay, great. Any other commissioner comments? Any other staff comments? My God, I shouldn't have even got my comments. Motion to adjourn? So moved. Adjourn. Thank you.